Now I'd like to ask Martha Dyer, the state historian, to come up and speak a few words. Please be seated.
Would you mind holding those for me, please, so I can film? Thank you.
Good morning. To the Jesse Hall family, you may learn a little bit more about your patriot now. South Cove County Park was once the homestead of Revolutionary War hero Jesse Hall Sr. Born in Virginia in 1755 to Jesse and Candosia Hall, Jesse was the eldest of 18 children. As a young man, Jesse established a farm in Wilkes County, North Carolina. In 1776, Jesse left his farm and joined the Continental Army against British, first serving under Lieutenant George Daltrey in the North Carolina line. Jesse then fought in the Battle of Briar Creek, Georgia, on March the 3rd, 1779, and then the Battle of Stono Ferry, South Carolina, June the 20th, 1779. In May 1780, Jesse was captured by the British during the siege fall of Charleston, South Carolina. He was paroled under the promise he would not take up arms against the British, and he was sent back home to North Carolina. When he returned to Wilkes County, he found nothing was left for him, and he could not have any peace because the area was active with Tories, those loyal to the British. He re-enlisted in the Continental Army to fight again against the British. He then fought in the Battle of Cowpens, South Carolina, January 17th, 1781. Listen, and as I give you these dates, and then you'll understand. Battle of Guilford Courthouse, North Carolina, March 15th, 1781. Siege of 96, South Carolina, May through June, 1781. And Battle of Eutaw Springs in South Carolina, September the 8th, 1781. Ladies and gentlemen, that was 9 months, 4 battles, it covering 4 seasons. Imagine the weather, imagine the mode of transportation, imagine the difficulties getting from one battle to another. That was miraculous. Jesse received his discharge from the Army on May 9th, 1782. After the war in 1786, Jesse married Hannah Louise Kelly in Rutherford County, North Carolina, and then settled at the homestead here at this park. Jesse had 12 children: Zachariah Hall, George Hall, Phoebe Hall, Silas Henry Hall, Jesse A. Hall, John Hall, Nancy Hall, Sarah Hall, Ruth Hall, Thomas J. Hall, William G. Hall, and David Hall. Jesse passed away in 1833. After fighting in the Revolutionary War and getting married, Jesse settled on the land that is now South Cove County Park. This land was given to him by the government as a bounty land for fighting in the war. This area in and around the park today is known as Bounty Land. You're familiar with Bounty Land, the little county around, the little town around here. In 1833, Jesse passed away, leaving this property to his son, Thomas, under the stipulation that he continued to allow his mother and 4 of his siblings to reside on the property. Thomas later sold a portion of the property to his brother, Zachariah, who attempted to turn the land into a large farm. The farm also was a muster grounds for the militia in the early 1800s. In 1868, the land was placed up for auction for non-payment of taxes. It was bought by the Haygoods and Genelettes. Some of the land was purchased back by Jesse Hall's grandson, John Hall. It also has been owned by the Mickler, Evans, Harshaw, Miller, and Dupree families. Over the years, this land has undergone many changes and has been owned by several entities, all which have left their mark upon this landscape. Today, the land is owned by Duke Energy and is leased to the county as a county park for everyone to enjoy. Records indicate Zachariah Hall enslaved 8 persons, 5 males and 3 females, ranging from ages 2 to 62 years old, who lived in 2 slave dwellings on the property. In 1850 and 1860, the United States government slave schedules did not require names of the enslaved. People were listed only by state, county, and township, and subcategorized by their enslavers by gender, age, race, and total number of enslaved on each property. The slave schedules are one of the few reliable resources for studying African American history in the South before the Civil War. Within the park today stands a cemetery that began in 1833 with the passing of Jesse Hall. People were less likely to bury their dead in cemeteries associated with churches in the 17 and 1800s, primarily because transporting bodies back in those days would have been very difficult and expensive. This led to many families choosing to bury their loved ones on their own property instead. In 2020, South Cove County Park, Duke Energy, Sons of the Revolution, Daughters of the Revolution, and the Hall family embarked on research and location of the current cemetery, which is behind me. 46 grave sites were identified by ground-penetrating radar and probing techniques. The only grave found with the original headstone with markings was that of Jesse Hall Sr. The headstone was found buried underground at the top of his gravesite during the survey. Due to the condition of the headstone, it is being preserved, and a replacement headstone was provided by the Oconee Veterans Affairs. A marker has also been placed by the SAR and DAR. While many of the graves are of the Hall family, they could also be of other families that own the property, including the Haygood, Genelette, Mickler, Evans, Harshaw, Miller, and Dupree families. Now, I would like to introduce to you Stephen Scott, who is the superintendent of this beautiful park, and he has some comments for you.